All right, so in this video, what we want to do is really put a big focus on the leg cycle and more specifically the back part of the leg cycle. So what happens is I see a lot of times when I do my breakdowns is that people get so far up in front and there's two things that happen. Their legs get too far back behind them, and they also don't know how to create a lot of power out of that back leg as they're pushing off. And so that affects their overall ability to transition with the right timing and also generating the right amount of force, which impacts their ability to get good stride distance. So what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna be in this position, and you can adjust it based off of where you wanna be. So I could be here. If I'm here, I'm thinking more of my top end speed, okay? And then if I'm here, I'm thinking more of my acceleration phase, and I'm just working on pushing up and getting my heels right up to my butt. Pushing off, getting my heel right up to my butt. And then from there, and then again, I can go here and think about the same thing. Pushing off and getting my heel right up to my butt. Pushing off with the heel right up to my butt. And again, the idea is because if I'm here and I'm allowing myself to get my foot too far back behind me and not getting that good generation of force, now that's gonna end up being a habit. So I have my foot up here because that's where my other foot will be during this phase. You could probably get this a little bit closer here to make it so my knee is gonna be up like this. And now from here, I'm just pushing off and driving up. Okay, and just really, really focusing on doing that great. All right, so here's the drill to really work on the start. The big mistake that I see within the start is just the ability to move the hips correctly. Okay, so what we want to do in this drill is really just allow yourself to, it's basically just a start. It's nothing that's like really complicated, but what we want to do is we want to put a big focus on how we can in ourselves maximize keeping our hips high and then dropping them down and driving up the opposite knee, and just really understanding from a conceptual side what exactly that means. Okay, I'm going to do this. I don't have blocks with me, so I'm going to do this as if I'm running the 40, but whether you're accelerating out of the blocks or you're running your 40, either one is really the same. So I'm going to be here, and from here I'm just going to go pick this up. And now what I'm really trying to do here, just to show you in slow motion, is I'm trying to keep my hips high, and then when I start, I want to drop down here and drive that knee up. Okay, so and the best that I can, as fast as I can do that. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to be here, and I want to be able to drop that hip down, and as I'm dropping my hip down, this knee's going to come more forward, that front knee's going to come more forward, and then I'm going to be pushing off. What I was doing with my back leg there, you're not going to be doing that. You're going to be pushing off and extending, but I want you to just see what I'm doing with my hips and with my front leg, okay? So now I'll go in fast motion, and the whole idea of the drill is just to be able to do that maybe 3 steps hard, just thinking about though getting that initial drop with the hip. You could really only do this for 1 step if you want to, but just getting that initial drop with that hip and then being able to drive off with that front knee. I'm going to take 3 steps here and then really trying to think about as you're going, getting those hips through the best that you can. Okay, so I'm here, getting set up and getting those hips down. All right, the last drill here is the single leg tuck jump, and the reason I love the single leg tuck jump is because if you have flat feet, it's great for being able to work on ankle stabilization. If you have any ability to or inability to utilize your hip flexors or your core or get a good knee drive, which a lot of times people struggle with knee drives, and since we already worked on being able to get better with your whole transition phase and utilizing the cycle, the next big part is going to be being able to get better overall hip flexion. So the tuck jump, and I'll do 3 facing forward, I'll go for 3 facing to the side, is just standing on one leg, jumping up, driving up as high as you can, and then trying to spend the least amount of time on the ground as you can in between each transition. So I'm here, and I'm just, okay, make sure you're landing on the balls of your feet there. Just trying to get the maximum force you can. And notice I'm also trying to drive my heel up to my butt as I'm doing each one of these. Those are 3, I think, great drills that will help you in improving your start, your transition, as well as your overall top end speed. Now during the explanations, I know I talked a little bit about the leg cycle, and if this is the first time you watching any of our videos, maybe don't have a familiarity within the leg cycle, we're gonna add a video here right after that will go more in depth into what that leg cycle is and give you more information for how you could use that in improving your sprint.
Speed series video. It's going to be really an exercise that you can do in order to better increase your cycle or your turnover when you're actually running. But it also just goes into an overall understanding of how to run, how to make it so you're going to be able to get just better turnover and what that great turnover really looks like. The key thing that you really want to start out with is that you want to bring your heel up to your butt as you're sprinting, and you want to hold that heel to your butt as you're transferring your leg through, and then you're going to go and extend your leg and then come back underneath, okay? A lot of times what I see is that the heel comes up here and then the knee comes forward at the same time. So what that does is that just ends up shortening your stride, and it also doesn't give it that nice cycle look to it. So when you go here and you're bringing that heel to your butt and you're holding it just like so, and then you come through from there, now you're going to end up getting like a very, looks like you're almost riding a bike in a sense, okay? And that's really important. It really makes it so you start to get that vertical force. When you come in and when you bring that knee forward as you bring your heel to your butt, you end up getting a lot of times you'll get your trunk in front of your hips, and then you end up kind of with that forward lean, just not getting that really good vertical force type of a movement. It becomes more of a horizontal, which is more of a side-to-side type of movement, okay? And so one of the things that I look for in the cue is to make it so as you bring your heel to or when you touch your heel to your butt, or as you're going to try to touch your heel to your butt, you want to make sure that that's happening before that your knee crosses the down leg knee, okay? So you don't want to make it so you're here, you want to make it so you're here, and then from there you're just holding that position and then coming all the way up and through. And you watch those Olympic sprinters, what they're able to do is they're able to really get their heel all the way up to their butt and then transfer through really nicely. They just have a ton of flexibility in that hamstring to be able to get that heel all the way up there as they're running through that cycle, and that's where they get all that force from. So I think that's a very key concept for everybody to understand, and that it's an easy exercise that you can do. You just go up against the wall and you just work on that speed cycle, so then when you start to actually run, you can just easily incorporate that. And I would say start at like a 60% speed, maybe some type of jogging, and then continue to try to progress it. Really feel yourself getting back with that heel and then cycling through and extending. Cycling through and extending, you'll start to realize how much that really allows your legs to get underneath your spine, and it's really a great way to start to increase and improve your overall running technique and running form. For watching this video, I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, you could subscribe down below, and that way you can get updates on any of the new videos that we get. Also, if you want to, you can check out some of our other breakdowns for speed and throwing. We have exercises, also jumping mechanics videos, a lot of great stuff within our channel. Hope you enjoy.